Hi, my name is Paul Joe. This is video one in a series of videos over Shuai Chiao. Through the videos, you'll get an idea of how to do the foundational training stuff, the application of it, fundamental history, things like that. These videos are primarily for either people that live in my immediate area that are coming to me for classes, or for those that are interested in learning Shuai Chiao. Maybe they have a school and they'd like to add it as a program, or maybe they're just interested in learning some of it. That being said, I've been doing Shuai Chiao since the early 90s. My instructor is a Master John Wang. He was a disciple of a Master Dongchen Chong. Master Chong, actually the name itself, Shuai Chiao, the spelling of it in this way, it would imply that it's from Master Chong's lineage of Shuai Chiao. So, most people want to know what's involved, and you know, maybe they'll watch some of the videos over some of the movements and things like that. And but most people are curious of the amount of effort that they would put into learning something. This is my program. I say that because there's others that teach Shuai Chiao, and they may have more content, less content. They may have a totally different approach than what I do, and all of that's fine. As long as the program is covering the foundational material, going along with the methodology of what Shuai Chiao is. And I think that is the most important aspect. If it's doing that, then it's going to fit the needs of for someone that wants to learn it, and they wouldn't feel like they didn't get the full of it. As an example, like say if you were doing something like Wing Chun, which is another thing that I teach. If I didn't teach you the three hand forms and I just showed you application and some Chi Sao, you wouldn't really get the full benefit of the system and how it's put together. So anyway, that being said, the belt ranking, like I said, I wanted to start with this first in the video because, again, a lot of people want to know, or maybe they've already been exposed to Shuai Chiao or they're doing it now, and maybe they can draw a comparison between what I do and what someone else does. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. So from white to black, and in reality there's 3 black belts that have material or content. Beyond that, any ranking above a 3rd degree would be for maybe you've hosted a lot of events, or you've taken teams to compete nationally, internationally, you've written a book, you've created a video series, you've made manuals, you've things like that. You've contributed to the system. So the first 3, again, the first 3 belts have content, and at each level it's a different premise of the training. So inside of that, a lot of systems have as much as 8 or 10 belts. BJJ, I think it has a blue, purple, white, blue, purple, brown, black, I think, so 5 belts. Shuai Chiao has 3. Something like Taekwondo, I think usually they have maybe 8 to 10 belts, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. The amount of belts doesn't mean that it has more material or less material. It's basically how they've laid out the content. That being said, so for me, and this was the way that I always taught Shuai Chiao, meaning that I did a white, a blue, and then a black belt. So from white to blue, I've added stripes. So I have 3 stripes, and each one of those tests is basically content that would be involved for the blue belt. So you're progressing through it, you're testing over the content. So then when you get here, you've already kind of went through the process with it. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So there's 3 stripes, and it's broken down, and then you do the blue belt test. And I'm going to go through that very much more. And then from blue to black, you would have 3 more stripes and then a black belt test. I'm not going to cover that today, but a portion of what is in the blue belt goes over to your black belt test, and then of course other content. And I will save that for another video over black belt. But right now, with this video series, my big focus is getting someone so that they can do this blue belt test and going through the material. So that's it. So basically, white, blue, black, 3 stripes between white and blue, and then 3 stripes between blue and black. And then the blue belt itself. So I'm going to make individual videos over some of this. So if it sounds like I'm just being too brief with the material, please understand that I will detail this stuff out. And if you're watching this, I'm going to do maybe a couple of videos a week, not too much, but enough that keep a person involved in what it is. So Shuai Chiao forms. So for this test, you're doing 1 through 16, there's 24 total. These forms are single actions. Like for example, this is diagonal striking, right? And there's a way to do this, there's a purpose behind it. So there's 16 of those that you would learn, and each one is, it's either a specific action that goes with maybe several throws, or it's a specific throw itself. So then we have belt cracking exercises. Now, the belt cracking exercises, some people think these are just for grip training. You could also think of them as footwork. You could also think of them with the cracking of the belt, that they're helping you to coordinate the stepping, your whole body together in a unit. But it's actually deeper than that. They're actually helping you to develop force through the core muscles, the upper and lower core muscles of the hips and the torso. But again, I will cover that more deeply. And then there's the Shuai Chiao Tao. There's 13 of these, and in a lot of ways they look like yoga postures. Some of them could directly be used as an application piece, as the posture itself. But they help you to develop your structure, your balance, the way you're holding your body. Again, I'll detail these out. And on my YouTube channel, there's already some videos over this stuff, but none of them are really detailed out with explanation. Apparatus. And again, there was 13 of these, and that's the total of the Tao. There's only 13. There's only 12 belt cracking. And again, you would do this, you're learning this stuff, you're showing your ability to do it, and then when you do your black belt, you're showing more of a refinement of this content. Apparatus, 8 of them. So apparatus, the best way I can describe this was Shuai Chiao. Shuai Chiao has kind of what I consider ancient CrossFit. There's bags that you throw, there's poles with weighted concrete or rock that would be on the ends. And you utilize these different apparatus in which to strengthen and develop the body. They're very, very important. And so through this, you either make these, source them, buy them, find these in some way, and you will create them, and you show that you can do them. Now, as it relates to these 4 things, these can all be done, by yourself, solo. And at the same time, this is very, very important to the foundation of what Shuai Chiao is. By doing these things, you're developing the body. And again, I'll go into that deeper, but just on a side note, think of it like this. Say you're a baseball player, and you're a batter, and you're really good at it. And at these different stages, like say you played it in junior high, and then high school, and college, and you were good enough that you went into the pros. At each one of those stages, the coaches are giving you potentially exercises to do, things to increase your strength, especially in the core, right? There's the range of motion action, and then there's the core action. So this part is power, and this part is force, right? The baseball player does no different than the martial artist in the sense he has to have things to, or her for that matter, has to have things to develop the body. There's the natural ability, and then can we develop it beyond that? And that's what these forms are doing, and these belt cracking exercises, and these cowbell, and the training apparatus. So I say this stuff here is what is going to keep you strong, fit, and capable. Okay? Now, and move into this next part here, these modules. So, belt module. So it's actually the belt and the jacket, meaning how to use the belt and how to use the jacket in a wrestling event, right? There's tearing actions, how to break free from the jacket, how to, what we call spinning, how to move the person. And I'm either doing these in a defensive or an offensive action. So I put together a module for that so it's easier for somebody to train and work this package. These modules here, it says 3. So this is 3 modules that you learned through these strikes. So there's multiple modules that you learn through these. These modules that I have 4 dozen modules. Each one consists of around a dozen different techniques. They're either striking, they're kicking and striking, they're throws, variations of throws, combination throws, counter throws, and I give a person an opportunity to self-select content so that it makes it easier on me. If I have everybody doing the same thing at the same time, it would be hard for me to work on other content or other material. Doing it this way, I have to challenge myself to be able to work on several different groups of material at the same time, and I think it helps the students to progress and to become better because they're working with partners through these techniques. And this guy's doing this module, this guy's doing this one, and it really opens up the mind. Modules over tactics. These are anything from dealing with strikes, how to evade strikes, how to get control of somebody. It's basically the strategy and the tactics, and it's giving you the idea of how to put this stuff together. So there's you end up having to pick a couple of these that you did over here. Warm-up routine. This is basically a joint loosening routine to get, before you work out or you're going to do something, you want the body warmed up and you want it loose so that you don't end up pulling your back or hurting a knee or an elbow or something like that. So I do require people to learn this for their own selves so that when they're practicing at home, at least they have something that they can work on. Exercises. These can be calisthenics, isometrics, isotonic exercises. An isometric is like a horse stance, or like push-ups could be an exercise. The reason why I do that is I want to know that people are working on their bodies. It's again, if you're doing this in your late teens, 20s, 30s, even 40s, it's really important to maximize your body's ability. And in my age, in my 50s, it's very important that I can maintain my strength. There's a saying in Shuai Chiao that says, strength beats 10 techniques. And that right there in itself says a lot. Meaning, we have to be realistic about ourselves. And as we age, we really want to be able to maintain our balance and our strength in our legs and then our bodies as a whole. So anyway, it's basically somebody showing it. This component here, it says endurance. Actually, it's a resolve to be able to push yourself to do something. So my first group of students, even to the students now, this is the expectation. So there's 12 throws, and they're from different categories. They could be non-body throws, where I'm just doing a takedown. It has to be from categories where you're picking someone up or where you're lifting somebody. So they're from different categories, and picking 12, you need to do 10 of each. So that's 120 throws that you would do on a partner, okay? But your partner is going to do those same 12 throws on you, so that's going to be for a total of 240 throws. If you're under the age of 35, you need to be able to do that in 45 minutes. So you can divide it out and see the difficulty with that. Between 35 and 40, you add more minutes to it. By the time you get to, we'll say my age bracket, 50s, say you're 50, if the person can complete it, okay? Which they should be able to. Most people are going to push themselves to try to push to this number here at 45. Traditional form. To me, it's not what it's from, but it's something that you want to do. For example, like my Sibo, Master Chang, the man did Tai Chi, he did Xingyi, he did a variety of traditional martial art systems. My Sifu, John Wong, he learned this system of long fist, he did Tai Chi, he does praying mantis, Maji, Xingyi, and myself, I do a variety of different styles. And so learning something like this, I think, is a benefit for the person, stepping outside of what it is that you're doing. Write a paper. I know that sounds kind of odd, but sometimes people, when they write something down or they type it out, it gets into their head more. And from this, it's over whatever subject you want that revolves around this stuff. It could be over a different type of martial arts. Say you want to do a paper over Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or you want to do one over Aikido. It's irrelevant. I want you to expand your mind. It could be over something also like sports science, or personal training, or group fitness. But something that revolves around martial arts or how to develop yourself. You can read a book to do this, you can watch videos, you could even do it for free and go on YouTube and find some instructional videos and write out a paper. I'm not asking for a thesis, I'm just, this is your thoughts on it, what you got out of it, and that kind of stuff. The application. What I mean by that, instead of saying the word sparring or wrestling, it's different categories of stuff. So I feel that somebody should be able to just understand striking. You're working with another person and be able to spar with them and just specifically do striking. And like boxing in a sense, right? When we use that term, striking and kicking. So we say like kickboxing, right? But I need to be able to do my kicks, my strikes, and be able to close the distance, separate it out, all of that stuff. And then striking, kicking, and throwing would be more like Sanda, right? I want to be able to strike, kick, be able to get attached to the person, be able to put them on the ground. And I use the term throwing because to me, Shuai Chiao really isn't wrestling. It is a body throwing art. Now, I can use the term wrestling, two people get together, and they're trying to move for this thing. But in theory, I'm not trying to grapple with you any more than I need to. I want to get an attachment to you, and I want to be able to put you on the ground, or you put me on the ground. But it should be fast. What I mean, like a lot of times wrestling, people really want to try to play chess, and they want to get in there and work with each other. And as you're developing, you'll do that. In the beginning, you'll be really physical. Later, you'll be a little bit more cautious. But it's bringing it to a different level to where you're able just to move in there and make an attachment and try to put them on the ground as quickly as possible. That type of mindset and training is much more advantageous to street application, right? And then we have this thing here, sensitivity training. This is where I'm attached with someone else, and we're moving around. Our hands are moving, our body is moving, and through this, we're looking at seizing techniques, grabbing wrists, grabbing elbows, grabbing heads, grabbing waist, displacing, pushing, pulling, moving the person if need be, right? Striking, I can strike from this. Tripping them, I can move them and make them fall over. But it's all stand up. This is like I'm working on this idea of being attached to the person and being able to analyze this stuff and, play it through in my mind. It's all stand up. This is not like this in the sense that we're working through these movements and how to process and how to put them together. It's a great way to do stuff. As it relates to down here, competing. Competing is great. If you're sparring, we'll say, and you're doing the throwing and wrestling in a class, and you're working through these things with people, in a lot of situations, based on your age, that may be good enough. To be honest with you, competing, probably between the ages of about 16 and about 38, a lot of events won't even let you compete beyond that. Just be realistic. There are some events where they call them master or senior event. You can compete in those if you really like competing. But me personally, I really look at Shuai Chiao. Number one to me is it street applicable? Can I use it out there? And that's my focus. As it relates to learning to use the jacket, that's part of competing, and learning these things over here will help you compete in Shuai Chiao wrestling or in Sawdog competition or in some kind of open event if you wanted to. Performance, this is like doing a demonstration, helping with to put on an event to promote Shuai Chiao, not necessarily just for my school, but promote it as a whole for the others to do it. This promote here is, you actively trying your best to bring in other people, encourage people to come and try it. Shuai Chiao is one of the least known of Chinese martial arts, and probably one of, in my personal opinion, one of the most effective ones, if not the most effective, because of its approach. It's very simplistic, it's very focused. There's ways to train the body to increase your strength, your physical body. It has training approaches to develop you for being able, for a combative situation, whether it be at your local grocery store parking lot, at the gas station, at the whatever. Somebody provokes you, you want to be able to contend with it. To me, being able to deal with that situation and be able to protect yourself is more important than winning a trophy any day. And then support, and again, support is just that. It's supporting the school where you train or the organization that you're part of with Shuai Chiao, whether it's through me or through somebody else. It's relevant. I think that those things are important. This may seem like a lot, but in reality, considering there is only a white belt, a black belt, it's not that much. It looks like a lot written down, but these are the skills to learn, right? These are the way to train the body, right? Train the body and the mindset. These things here are strategies and tactics that you would do, exercising the body, and this is just a functional thing to do on this test to show your result. Nothing more to it than that. So anyway, I hope you liked the video, and if you want to find me on Facebook, you can find me at Kung Fu Athletic Academy, or you can find Texas Combat Shuai Chiao Association. My ranking is through my instructor, Sifu John Wong, the organization that he and some other masters created, most notably Master David Lin, which has passed away, American Combat Shuai Chiao Association. So if you're not in my immediate area and you don't like to travel, there are other teachers that teach on the East and the West Coast, and through our organization, or through the organization that I'm part of. So anyway, I hope that's helpful, and like I said, please subscribe and maybe check out some of the other videos as I produce them. Again,